Rev up your engines!
Well, don't listen to a word Elon says. I'm going to build all these chargers. Oh, we're going to have Teslas everywhere. And don't worry, you can charge your car. It'll be real easy. Well, Tesla just pulled out of a supercharged leases and it fired its entire supercharger team. Yeah, the guy's he's so full of baloney. He promises you stuff that never comes to fruition. His whole thing is based on it's easy to charge. We'll build all these stations. And now they're canceling ones. And he fired his whole supercharger team to save money. All this guy cares about is his own pay package. Do you think he gives a rat's behind about the regular people? No, he doesn't. Elon Musk just laid off the senior director of EV charging, Rebecca Tanucci, alongside her 500-person strong team. So much for their supercharging team. And then they canceled leases on ones that they were going to have, right? Hey, the guy's a scumbag. You can see it. You know, he tells you one thing, and then he does completely the opposite, right? I mean, he's trying to push this robo-taxi crap now, right? Well, back in the day, he said there's going to be 1 million Tesla robo-taxis roaming America by 2020. Well, this is 2024, 4 years later. There's not a single one out there roaming, right? You can't believe a word this guy says. We're going to make charging so easy. Oh, let's cut out charges. We don't want to make any more. I mean, it's the same thing. When he started with this electric car horse manure, he said, I want to save the planet, and we're going to give all our technology out free to everyone so they can all make electric cars. He's been suing people for ages for stealing his patents and using his electric car ideas, right? After he said he's going to give it away, now if anybody took it, he's suing them, right? I mean, it's unbelievable that this stuff even is allowed to go on. This is probably just the beginning of it, too. Tesla's backed out of 4 supercharger location leases across the New York City area. A lot of people in New York City, right? They want to have charges. Oh, no, we don't care. Who cares about New York City? Now, I find it hilarious because if you remember, a few years ago, Musk was saying, oh, we have a supercharger vision. We're going to have burger restaurants and locations so you can dine while you're EV charged. Now he's even shutting down the EV chargers. He's got going, right? Hey, the hilarious thing is, okay, he's not doing those leases in New York City, but he had promised to install 100 additional chargers in New York City by the end of 2024. So it looks like that's not going to come to fruition either. He fired the whole supercharger team, and he said on those 4, no, we're not going to do those. So let's face the facts. It's all a fantasy this guy's trying to throw, and if you fall for that fantasy, don't be surprised if you buy one of his stupid cars. You can't get it fixed because you can't get parts for it, and when you're driving it, you can't get it charged because they didn't feel like building any more chargers. It's too much hassle, right? Well, if you've been following the news of electric cars, the Fisker Ocean, the electric cars, the company's basically a worthless pile of dung. It's presently 5 cents a share, so it's pretty much worthless stock, right? Well, get this. The founder, Henrik Fisker, is selling his Hollywood home now for 35 million smackers, right? Which is ironic because as of today, being 5 cents a share, the whole Fisker company is valued at $24.97 million. So his house is worth $10 million more than his entire company, and he's selling it. And I'm sure he's not going to take the money and invest it into the Fisker company either. Yeah, that's what people don't understand. These people are capitalist entrepreneurs who don't even rats behind about anything other than making money. And now, I guess the guy sees, well, I might as well sell my rich house so I can get out of it. Maybe they're worried people are going to sue them and take stuff from them, put the money in a Swiss bank account or something, to get it away so nobody can touch them. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of suits. People will be suing them. When these companies start going bankrupt, they generally could prove all kinds of fraud with the stock and the company lying about stuff, right? So he's selling his house now and it's worth more than his entire company. Now, does that say that there's something wrong with this stuff? Yes, it does. Now, while he's trying to sell it, now if you're interested, he said you can rent it too for $125,000 a month if you want to rent the house. Just don't trash it in case somebody wants to buy the thing, right? Now, of course, the Fisker Ocean had problems. They didn't make hardly any of them, right? And get this, Marquise Brownlee, he called it the worst car he's ever reviewed. kind of hilarious. The guy's house is worth more than his entire company now. So I hope none of you went out and bought one of these Fisker Oceans. Now, hardly anybody did, so it's not like it's affecting that many people. But, I mean, it just shows how these people are like. They're rolling in the dough. They don't care if your investments go down the toilet and the stock's 5 cents a share now, and he's trying to finagle his way into saying, well, we'll get one of these car companies to buy it. I hate to tell this clown, but none of these big car companies are going to buy this ridiculous electric vehicle company that's failing because they're already losing enough money themselves on electric cars. Last year, Ford lost billions on their electric car division, and they're starting to lose billions this year already, 2024. Like they're going to go buy another failed car company when their own doesn't even work. Ren Poole says, should I buy a Ram pickup? I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the new engines the 25 Rams are going to have. I have 2 Rams with 5.7 Hemis, and I'm pleased with them. Wondering your thoughts. Okay. If you're pleased with those V8 Hemis, you're not going to be pleased with what they're putting in. They're putting in a straight 6 turbocharged engine. And realize Ram Schmam, right? Used to be Dodge, now it's Ram. Their quality is going down the toilet. And now they're banking on a straight 6-cylinder engine instead of their powerful V8s. It's a completely different animal than what you were driving with the V8 engine, right? I would not trust any new design that Ram puts out. And they're trying all this high-tech stuff. And from my experience, their high-tech stuff goes down the toilet. For example, what did they put in? A bunch of eco-diesel, right? Eco-diesel, my rear end. The things blow up all the time. They're terrible vehicles, right? They're Italian-based engines. I would not buy one. If you're happy with the V8, I'd say just keep driving yours. The engine goes, put another engine. Tranny goes, put another tranny. Because you just go road test one and see what you think and realize it's a turbo. The engine's going to wear out faster. It's going to burn oil faster. All that pressure in it. And it's a relatively new design. I wouldn't trust any new design that those guys put out. Well, you know, they just finished the last big nuke project. They don't have any more planned in the United States. But it could be these small modular reactors are going to be the future. They're not these gigantic things that cost $30 billion and always have cost overruns. They're smaller. They're called SMR, small nuclear reactors. Now, off the coast of Alaska, a Russian ship has been docked at a port for 4 years. The world's first floating nuclear power plant sends energy to 20,000 people on land using small modular reactors. If they want to make smaller ones that can do 200,000 people, they can build a bunch of those a lot cheaper than building a big giant one, right? And of course, it's newer technology, so it's more efficient. And the main thing everybody's always worried about cost is they cost less than the big giant ones, right? Since they call them small modular reactors, get this, they can be built many places. They're made up of small parts that can be easily delivered and assembled on a site. They're smaller. You can put them in lots of different places, right? It only makes sense. People need to stop this fantasy. Fusion, it's the miracle energy. Hey, it may never come to fruition. It's so far off in the future, if it ever does work, you got to get to millions of degrees temperature held in by magnetic fields. Will that ever happen? No one knows. But these small modular reactors already exist. They can be built anywhere on the planet. And since they're modular, you can mass produce them a lot better, right? It only makes sense. These politicians need to get their heads out of their rear ends that there's either going to be a miracle with fusion, which probably isn't going to happen for quite some time, if ever, and not think that wind and solar energy is going to power us because it doesn't create enough energy. It is not consistent. As I saw the other day, 2023 had less energy generated from wind power than 2022. Even though they built more and more of these things, they actually generated less energy. And they tried blaming it on all kinds of crazy crap. Well, the grid wasn't ready for it. Oh, it wasn't windy enough. We didn't have enough wind, right? You need something consistent, a cheap, consistent supply of power. And in the case of these nukes, they don't pollute. They can whine all they want. We only have radioactive waste products. Big deal. It's only a small amount of stuff. They can bury it someplace. Who really cares? Right? It's not bothering the whales in the ocean, and it doesn't ruin the view of the billionaires who are on the ocean. They don't want to look at windmills out there, right? People going to a national park, you really want to look at windmills out in the ocean? No, you don't, right? These people need to get their butts in gears and start making a bunch of these small module reactors. It only makes sense. The Russians have been doing it for years off of a ship, so it's totally doable. It's not like this technology does not exist. Here's something you probably don't know. Aircrafts have secret little generators that can pop out of the side or the bottom of the plane and generate electricity if power starts to go out on the plane. They can run electronics, they can run hydraulics. So, you may not have known it, but there is a backup system on these things. They call them RATs. Well, in this case, the RATs would be saving your life. Stands for Ram Air Turbine. And they've been used in the past to save people. When the power went out in some planes, they just out they come and be able to make it back. Realize there is a backup for the power system in case things start to go up. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.